Is Keir Starmer's government already crumbling? Just 9 months ago, Labour stormed into power with a landslide victory, promising stability, competence, and a fresh start for Britain. But now the cracks are showing. Voters are turning against Labour in droves in Starmer's usual tactics. Spin, distractions, and empty promises are no longer fooling anyone. Local elections are proving disastrous, with council seats slipping away and the opposition gaining momentum. From tax hikes to pension cuts to record-breaking illegal migration, Labour's policies have sparked nationwide outrage. The question is, why is this happening so fast? Who is benefiting the most from Labour's collapse? And what does it mean for the next general election? Stay with us as we break down Keir Starmer's biggest political crisis yet, because one thing is clear: his tricks have stopped working, and the consequences could be devastating. When Keir Starmer became Prime Minister in 2024, Labour believed they had secured a long-term grip on power. With a commanding majority in Parliament, they promised to restore order, fix Britain's struggling economy, and bring confidence back to government. Yet, less than a year later, the public's trust in Labour is rapidly fading. The numbers paint a grim picture. Since July 2024, Labour has suffered a net loss of 35 council seats across the country, with their aggregate vote share crashing by 9.1%. That's not just a setback, it's a full-scale collapse, happening far sooner than anyone expected. But what's driving this dramatic shift in public opinion? The answer lies in a series of deeply unpopular policies that have alienated key voting blocs. Winter fuel payments cut. Labour's decision to strip pensioners of their winter fuel payments has left millions of elderly voters furious. Many now face financial hardship as energy bills soar. Punishing taxes on farmers. Labour's imposition of heavy death duties on farmers has sparked outrage in rural Britain, a demographic that had already been wary of Starmer's policies. £40 billion in tax hikes. While working-class voters were promised economic relief, they've instead been burdened with higher taxes, squeezing already struggling households. Record illegal migration. Despite tough talk on border control, the number of small boat crossings has hit record levels under Starmer's government, leading to growing frustration among voters. These missteps have created a vacuum in British politics, and opposition parties, despite their own struggles, are beginning to capitalize on Labour's decline. The biggest political shakeup. Yet Labour's downfall isn't just about dissatisfaction. It's about where that discontent is going. The latest local elections reveal a dramatic shift. The Conservatives have managed to claw back 22 seats since their humiliating defeat in 2024. While their national vote share has only risen by 0.2%, the first-past-the-post system is working in their favor, allowing them to win key local battles. Reform UK. Led by Nigel Farage, Reform UK has emerged as the real wildcard. They've gained 12 seats, but more importantly, they've seen a 9% surge in vote share, the largest increase of any party. Reform is consistently finishing second or third in tightly contested races, proving they are no longer just a fringe movement. Liberal Democrats and Greens. Meanwhile, the Liberal Democrats and Greens have held steady, while the SNP and Independents have made minor gains. However, even Reform UK isn't immune to controversy. A major feud between Nigel Farage and former party figure Rupert Lowe has sparked internal turmoil. Lowe has accused Farage of running the party like a dictatorship, leading to his abrupt removal. Despite this public spat, Reform's popularity remains strong, with some polls now placing them ahead of both Labour and the Conservatives. What's next for Starmer? After just 9 months in power, Labour is already facing an existential crisis. Voters who once trusted Keir Starmer to bring stability are now turning against him, just as they did with the Conservatives before him. His so-called Falklands moment, an attempt to assert authority and regain public trust, has failed to move the dial. In fact, Labour's numbers are heading in the wrong direction. The latest Ipsos Political Pulse survey reveals that only 26% of Britons hold a favorable view of Starmer, while 52% are unfavorable, a joint high since he became Labour leader. Similarly, the Labour Party's favorability has dropped to 29%, with 45% unfavorable. These figures mark a significant decline from the early days of Starmer's leadership, where optimism was higher. Compounding these issues, the government's handling of the economy has come under intense scrutiny. A staggering 62% of the public lack confidence in Labour's long-term economic plan, and only 33% believe the party has a good strategy for Britain's public services. The situation is further exacerbated by internal party tensions and a lack of clear direction. Senior Tories are now urging Nigel Farage to unite with the Conservative Party to prevent Starmer from winning a second term. Discussions of forming a right-wing coalition, potentially led by Farage, are gaining traction, highlighting the precarious position Labour finds itself in. The tipping point. The culmination of these factors has led to a tipping point in British politics. The electorate, disillusioned by broken promises and unpopular policies, is seeking alternatives. Reform UK's rise signifies a hunger for change, while the Conservatives are regrouping to reclaim lost ground. For Starmer, the road ahead is fraught with challenges. Rebuilding trust requires more than rhetoric. It demands tangible policy shifts and a genuine connection with the electorate's concerns. Failure to adapt could result in a rapid fall from grace, mirroring the fate of previous administrations that lost touch with their base. Keir Starmer's government is at a crossroads. The initial euphoria of a landslide victory has given way to the harsh realities of governance. Unpopular decisions, internal strife, and a resurgent opposition have eroded public trust. If Labour hopes to retain power, it must undergo a profound transformation, addressing policy missteps, engaging with disenfranchised voters, and demonstrating genuine leadership. What are your thoughts on Labour's current predicament? Do you believe Keir Starmer can turn things around, or is the party destined for a swift decline? Share your opinions in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more in-depth political analysis. Your engagement helps us bring you the content that matters most.